Boudicca. Even after 2 millennia, the name carries weight. A queen, a warrior, a symbol of defiance against tyranny. Hers is a story etched in the memory of Britain, a testament to the human spirit's refusal to be broken. Boudicca's rebellion against the might of Rome echoes through history, a stark reminder that even the most powerful empires can be shaken. We know her story through the writings of Roman historians Tacitus and Cassius Dio. Their pens, often biased against those Rome deemed barbarians, nonetheless recorded the ferocity and brilliance of Boudicca's campaign. She emerges as a figure of immense courage, cunning, and ultimately tragedy. Though many details of her life are lost to time, what remains paints a vivid picture. Boudicca was not born into a life of warfare, but rather thrust into it by the cruelty and arrogance of an empire. Her story is not just about rebellion, it is about the fight for justice, for dignity, and for the preservation of a way of life. It is a story that deserves to be told. To understand Boudicca's rebellion, we must first understand the world in which it ignited. It is the 1st century AD. Rome, the dominant power of the Mediterranean world, has turned its sights northward towards the island of Britannia. The Roman conquest of Britain, begun decades earlier under Julius Caesar, was a slow and brutal process. Roman legions, famed for their discipline and efficiency, clashed repeatedly with the fiercely independent Celtic tribes that populated the island. While some tribes sought accommodation, others, like Boudicca's Iceni people, resisted fiercely. The Iceni, inhabiting what is now East Anglia, had initially sought a peaceful relationship with Rome. Their king, Prasutagus, became a client ruler, pledging allegiance to the Roman emperor in exchange for a degree of autonomy. This fragile peace, however, would soon crumble. Upon Prasutagus' death in 60 AD, Rome betrayed its agreement. The Iceni kingdom was annexed, their lands seized, and their nobles stripped of their status. Boudicca, Prasutagus' widow, and now leader of her people, was subjected to public humiliation and flogging. Her daughters too suffered at the hands of Roman soldiers. Rome had miscalculated. They had sought to break the Iceni spirit. Instead, they ignited a firestorm. The brutal subjugation of the Iceni sent shockwaves through the heart of ancient Britain. What the Romans had perceived as a minor administrative matter, the crushing of a single tribe, would have far-reaching consequences. They had underestimated the simmering resentment against their rule, the deep-seated desire for freedom that burned within the hearts of the Britons. Boudicca's experience resonated far beyond her own tribe. Her public humiliation, the abuse of her daughters, became a rallying cry for those who had suffered under Roman rule. She became a symbol of resistance, a focal point for the simmering anger of the Britons. Other tribes, nursing their own grievances against Rome, saw in Boudicca a leader who understood their plight, a queen who would fight for their freedom. The Trinovantes, their lands bordering the Iceni, and who had also suffered under Roman oppression, joined her cause. Word spread like wildfire across the land, carried by whispers and secret meetings. An alliance was forged, bound by a shared hatred of the Roman oppressors and a burning desire for vengeance. Boudicca, fueled by grief and rage, was not content to simply mourn what had been lost. She would be a vessel of retribution, a warrior queen who would make Rome pay for its crimes. The time for diplomacy was over, the time for war had come. Boudicca was more than just a grieving widow. She was a woman of remarkable strength and intelligence, qualities honed through years of observing her husband's rule and navigating the treacherous world of tribal politics. The Romans, blinded by their own arrogance, dismissed her as a hysterical woman, incapable of posing a serious threat. They would soon learn the folly of their underestimation. Boudicca possessed a natural charisma that drew others to her cause. She was a gifted orator, her words imbued with the power of her convictions. Her speeches, delivered with fiery passion, ignited the hearts of her followers. She spoke of the injustices they had suffered, of the lands stolen, the families torn apart, the sacred groves desecrated. And she offered them hope, a vision of a future free from Roman tyranny. But Boudicca was not just a charismatic leader. She was a shrewd strategist. She understood that to defeat the legions of Rome, she needed more than just passion. She needed a plan. She gathered intelligence, assessing the strengths and weaknesses of her enemy. She knew she couldn't match Rome's military might in open battle. Her strength lay in the element of surprise, in harnessing the fury of her people and unleashing it with devastating force. Under her leadership, the disparate tribes, united by a common enemy, were forged into a formidable fighting force. They trained, they strategized, they prepared for the coming storm. Boudicca, the grieving queen, had become a beacon of hope, a symbol of defiance, a warrior queen ready to lead her people to victory or death.